today I am going to talk to you about everything that I read in the month of May. Okay, so May was not a bad reading month, but it was definitely a strange one. I finished, I think, like 5 books, and I started way more than that, but like I DNF'd one, and then I just haven't finished others. It ended up being just like a really busy month, so I didn't have a whole lot of just like free time to read, but what I did end up reading and finishing, I, for the most part, really enjoyed. That being said though, I did have one book that I finished that really let me down, and then I had one that I have decided to just DNF and not finish. So it's kind of like a weird like hit or miss month. Like some were really great, like I found a new favorite, and then I'm DNFing and being disappointed. So it's kind of a balance this month, right? All right, so we'll start out with my DNF, and don't come for me. It's Never Nate. I started it, I made it about 50 pages, and I just can't. I just don't think this is for me. I think I might just unhaul this because I have all 3 books and I just don't want to read them. I just don't. Like, I started it and I'm like, what is this? Like, I couldn't get into it. I couldn't connect with the writing. And honestly, it wasn't even the footnotes, which is the part that like freaked me out. Like, I thought the footnotes were actually really cool. And I just didn't like the writing or the character. So there's that. I just, I don't think Nevernight's for me. Next is a book that I started but have not yet finished, but I plan to finish. I just haven't gotten any farther, and that is The Killing Moon by N.K. Jemisin. I only made it like a couple chapters in. I just recently started this one, but y'all, I can already tell you I'm gonna love it because for one, it's N.K. Jemisin and I absolutely love her. And it's dream magic, which is really cool to me. So I'm really excited to like see what's actually going on because like I said, I'm not very far. I have no idea what's going on in this book. Another one that I have started but have not finished yet, but will probably finish today because today is actually the day that I'm filming this, is actually the last day of the month. So I still have today to finish it, and that is 10,000 Doors of January. I'm really liking this one. It reminds me very much of The Starless Sea in the fact that there is a story inside a story, and we come to kind of find out how this story inside a story connects to the story that we're reading and the real life, and it's so good. It's this girl, January, and she is basically kept by this very rich man who is her father's employer. And her father kind of goes around the world finding artifacts for this really rich man and his like society. And the girl just kind of is raised by this man while her dad is off working for him. And, you know, she's dark-skinned, and this is set in, like, the 1900s, and so there's a whole lot of racism. There's a whole lot of uncomfortableness in this book, and I love it. It is so well done, and I really am liking Alex E. Harrow's writing, so I want to read more of their books. I think I read A Spindle Splintered last month, really enjoyed it. And I think they only have one other book out, and that's the Once and Future Witches, I believe. So I'll probably have to pick that up because this was fantastic. Then I ended up reading a really short novella on Kindle Unlimited, and that is Emergency Skin, also by N.K. Jemisin. This was really good. I believe this is part of a like larger collection of short stories, but I only read Emergency Skin and I really enjoyed it. Like I said, this is, I mean, what can you really say about a like 30-page short story? Like, it was super short and it was so good though. It packed so much into this short little short story and I really enjoyed it. Like, it's typical Jemisin weirdness and her voice, and I just loved it. If you haven't read it, I recommend it. It's on Kindle Unlimited now, so it can't hurt. I also ended up reading the NetGalley arc for End of Men, and this was really good. I wasn't really sure how I felt about it. I'm gonna film an entire review for this book, but like, I wasn't fully sure how I felt about it. Like, there were moments where I had to sit it down because it was so much. We are following a very large cast of characters, and each chapter is a new character. And all of them are living in this time where there is a plague, there is a worldwide pandemic, but it is only affecting men. Women can be carriers, but only men are dying from it. And about 90% of the world's male population ends up dying. And it was pretty rough to read. As like a wife and a mom to a boy, like it was pretty rough to read, especially because of the times that we're living in right now. Like, it seems not too far-fetched, if that makes any sense, which, man, there was moments in this book that like really hit me hard and really made me cry, and I appreciate that. But also, I think the fact that we're looking at it from a worldwide perspective and following so many different characters every chapter kind of overwhelmed it. So we're following like our main group and we get mostly their stories, but then there's like one-off chapters of just women around the world. And some of them I really wanted more from. And I was like, okay, well, what happened after that? Like, what happened after this chapter? But then that chapter is all you get. So that kind of bothered me some. But other than that, like, I really enjoyed it. I did give this, I believe, 3 stars. But I liked it. It's hard to explain. But it was... enjoyable is not really the word to use for this book. But it ended hopefully, so that was really cool. I liked how it wrapped up and left it to where it's like this hopeful open ending, because obviously the entire time we're reading this, like, it's a bunch of people trying to find a cure for this plague that's killing off all the men in the world. And we're seeing how that affects society and jobs and politics and how it affects every aspect of life. And it's really cool to see those little tiny intricacies, but it's so much packed into one book. I also ended up reading Shadow of the Gods, which is another arc from NetGalley, and this is by John Gwynne. This is the first book in the Bloodsworn saga series that he just released, and y'all, I really liked this one. I didn't think I would like it this much because I didn't really like Malice. And I was like, it's still like, you know, it's very Norse, it's very Viking, and like that's not usually my thing. But I really enjoyed this. I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed where the plot went. I just enjoyed the journey of this book. I ended up giving it 4 stars. We follow 3 different main perspectives. One is Orca, and she is a older mother. She has like a 10-year-old son, and she's married, and she's just kind of like a trapper living in this village, like kind of on the outskirts. And then we also follow Elvra, I think is her name, and she is a mercenary working with this like one group called the Battle Grim. And then we also follow Varg, who is an escaped slave, and he ends up joining a mercenary group called the Bloodsworn. That's just like base level, but it is so good. The magic is really cool, and it's honestly not like magic heavy. I've noticed that from Malice as well. I don't know if John Gwynne just writes like very light magic, but this has more magic in it than Malice did. So I really appreciated that, but it's not all about the magic and the magic system and stuff like that. It is very much more characters and plot. but I really, really enjoyed it. And the ending to this book, y'all, made me really want book 2 to come out, even though this one just released. It was really, really good. I enjoyed it so much. Definitely check that one out. I also read another one from NetGalley, and it is Brindle, I think is how you say this. And it's like a short graphic novel, and it was really cute. Like, I think I gave this 4 stars. It was cute. Like, there's not really much to say about it. I really liked the art style. The story was really cute. I loved the ending. I thought it wrapped up really well. And this is just a single one-off volume. I don't believe there's like anything more to it. It's just this one volume. And I really liked it. I read it mainly because I thought the art was super pretty and the story was good. Like, it made sense at the end. I liked it. It was cool. But the art is what really, really drew me into this, and I really appreciated that. All right, we're down to the last 2, which is my most disappointing and my favorite. And my most disappointing read of the month is The Toll by Neil Shusterman. I found myself wanting to DNF this every single time I picked it up. I loved the first 2. There was something about this one. It just wasn't clicking. There was so much going on, right? All I wanted was Rowan and Citra. And I don't really get that in this book. Like, I get it. There's so much more going on in this world, but like, that's not what I wanted to read about. I want their story. And like, this was not enough of it. And the ending was like just weird and rushed. And I wanted to love this because I loved the first 2. I just didn't love this. I didn't love how it ended. I just thought it was weird. Like, the ending itself wasn't bad. I understand it, but it also was like, really? That's what we're doing? Like, that's the thing. That's how okay, I guess. It was just not, I gave it 3 stars because it wasn't bad. It just like really let me down. If you've read this one and you loved the first 2, like, what did you think about The Toll? Because, man, I wanted to love it so bad. And I did not. I'm actually debating unhauling the whole series and like donating it because I didn't like the last book. What do you think? Should I unhaul the entire Arc of the Scythe since I'll probably never reread it because I don't like the last book, or should I just keep it? I don't know. We'll see. Now though, we have my favorite book of the month, and that is The Night Circus by Eric Morgenstern. This book was beautiful. It was everything I thought and wanted it to be. And it really lived up to my love of The Starless Sea, I believe. I still think I like The Starless Sea just a little bit better, but this, it's so beautiful. It is that same very whimsical lyrical writing. It's not a super fast-paced book. It is very character-driven, and you're not getting these big battles and this big like competition. Like, you're getting a very quiet, magical, whimsical book about these characters that you just end up loving. And it's such a rich and lush world. I just loved it so much. We are following these 2 characters from the very, very young children throughout their entire lives. And we see them kind of form relationships and learn to control their magic and live in this night circus that only comes at night, that's just super whimsical and magical, and the connection that they have to each other and to the circus, and oh, it's so good. Like, I love it. This is my favorite book of the month, probably one of my favorites of the year. I love it. And Illumicrate just announced that they're doing like a special edition box for this, and I'm probably gonna buy it because I love it. And I just bought this cover, and that's because this was like my used thrift books book that I bought, but now I need the like really pretty Illumicrate edition that they're doing. So yeah, this was my favorite book of the month. All right, so that is everything that I read in the month of May. It really wasn't a bad month, but it wasn't like an amazing month. Like, I was really busy, but I read a new favorite, but I also had some that like let me down. So, you know, hit or miss. It was a hit or miss type of month. All right, well, thank you guys for hanging out with me. My name's Jessie, and I will see you next time. Bye.